So here we go. Chablis. I've intentionally used this particular image at the bottom of the video, which shows the great Cru vineyards of Chablis, and I will talk a little bit about the Grand Cru vineyards of Chablis in a while. These are premium real estate areas. There are 7 Grand Cru vineyards in Chablis, and we'll talk a little bit more about them. For the moment, I just wanted you to have a look at these grand vineyards. These are ancient areas. Winemaking in Chablis was brought up just as most of the areas in Europe by the Romans. And over a period of time, the church took on the role for winemaking. It was used for sacramental purposes. As in the case of most old world regions, and especially France, the winemaking tradition in Chablis goes on about 1,000 years ago, really. And the people of Chablis take pride in the terroir that this region brings, the soil, the weather, the climate, and of course the history behind this wonderful traditional winemaking region named Chablis. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about where Chablis is. And well, that's the map of France, as you can see. And this is where Chablis is. As you can see, it is quite northerly as far as the winemaking regions of the world are concerned. As a matter of fact, it is one of the most northerly regions in the world, just below Champagne. And if you can see, I'll just try and put my marker there if that sort of works. There you go. There is Champagne, and you can see that's the region of Champagne. I'll just rub it off as well. And right here is Chablis. So I'll just take my eraser and rub it off because it looks horrible. So as you can see, Champagne is definitely the most northerly region where wines are produced, and Chablis is just below it. So very cold region in winters, not a lot of sunshine during the summers either. Quite a bit of rainfall, and since it's quite in the interior of the country, you can see there are no it's not right next to the Atlantic or the Mediterranean either. The weather is quite continental. You have very cold winters and not very hot summers, of course, because it's quite northerly, but you do have rather warm summers, but the temperature doesn't go up quite a bit. The sunshine isn't there too much. That is why predominantly only white grapes grow here. As a matter of fact, just one white grape, and we'll talk about that in a while. Saying that, a very northerly region, red grapes are not prevalent here at all. Right below Champagne, and you can see it is towards the east, and I'll just use my marker again because I like doing it. Sorry. Okay, so as you can see, it is right next to the Sancerre Puy-Fusé. This is the Sancerre Puy-Fusé area, and it's right next. It is towards the east of this region. Very, very prestigious region. As I told you, winemaking was brought here by Romans, and it is stated that since there are obviously traditionally a lot of improvements have been made, but as in most old world region, and as the French say, terroir is more important, and in Chablis there's a true reflection of terroir in this particular region. So moving ahead, we'll talk a little bit about what kind of grapes used to make Chablis. In fact, just one. What are the soil types and what different kinds of Chablis there are? All right, so moving ahead, a little bit of Chablis. Chablis AOC is the northernmost part of Burgundy. So Chablis is an extension of Burgundy. It does actually classify, it does actually fall under the Burgundy, a bigger, larger Burgundy AOC. It's just below Champagne as a region. Has quite a lot of similarities with Champagne, as a matter of fact, as we were discussed. Um, Very cool region, one of the coolest regions in the world, one of the most northerly regions where wine are produced and grapes are grown. And the most important fact about Chablis is that Chablis is 100% Chardonnay. Chablis is a small town, and in and around Chablis, there are vineyards, classifications of different levels, which we'll talk a little later. Um, but Chablis would always be 100% Chardonnay. These are depending on what kind of wines, what kind of cadre they are, or what kind of levels they are. They generally tend to be high acidity wines, um, uh, a lot of minerality. Minerality is difficult to explain, you know. If I have to literally explain it to you, is for me it is more to do with whetstone, flinty, limestone characteristics in a wine, which is very difficult to explain unless and until you sort of experience it by yourself over a period of time. So high acidity wines, and the reason behind this wine, high acidity wine, is that this particular area, which is now Chablis, and as a matter of fact, even Champagne used to be an ocean millions of years ago, and the soil there currently is all marine deposits, which were oyster shells and stuff like that, which are extremely rich in calcium and therefore very alkaline. So the wine has to be so the wine has to fight against this alkalinity because of the soil, the calcium in the soil, and that is what makes the wine turn the grapes more acidic. So it's the balance between acidity and alkalinity of the soil, the acidity of the grapes and the alkalinity of the soil. Saying that this soil is the one that makes Chablis such wonderful wines. That flintiness that is characteristic of this region of Chablis, and of Chardonnay, as a matter of fact. Chardonnay from Chablis is so much different at times from Chardonnay from other regions, especially New World regions. So we'll talk a little bit more about this moving ahead.